right. That's not live. It's been definitely one of those days today. So I hear this coming through the computer. How is that possible? Let me make sure I'm not logged in on the computer. You know we get echoes. Okay, so I'm still live here. I did have it on because I was setting up my color for my little banner there. Okay, making sure that that was set right. So I have already browned some hamburger meat. This is my take on shepherd's pie. So I've got some lean ground beef that I have browned, and I've already boiled my potatoes. So we're going to get to what makes great mashed potatoes here in just a second. But to this meat, I'm just going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. I don't want it to taste garlicky, but garlic is a great flavor enhancer. And then we're going to add a little bit of cream of mushroom soup just to give the meat, kind of a sauce. About a half of a can of cream of mushroom soup. Because I'm making a very small shepherd's pie. More about that. I've got my oven preheating to 375 degrees. Well, I think it's already preheated. I'm going to put a little more soup in there. About 3/4 of a can of cream of mushroom soup. You can use cream of chicken. You can use tomato sauce. Or you can even just use some like half and half or cream. Maybe some chicken stock, chicken bouillon. Okay, let's do a taste test. Oh, that's nice. That's it. Turn that heat back up a little bit. And now I'm going to tell you about the secret to great mashed potatoes. So I peel and chop and boil my potatoes. And let me see who's here. Hang on. Hello, David Hunt. Ooh, I will look into Tube Spanner. Hey, Ritz, how are you? Thanks for being here. Paul, hey there, Junkyard Gamer. Oh my gosh, Weaves World. Hey, thanks for being here. Did I already see you, Ritz? Yeah, I think I already saw you, but hello again, Ritz. Never heard of shepherd's pie, but oh gosh, yeah, and it's been around forever. Let's see. Paul, yo, Weaves World, how you been? Oh yeah. Yeah, see, y'all, we all go way back. Okay, so I've boiled my potatoes until they are fork tender. It occurred to me, I was watching a season of MasterChef, right? So they're home cooks, but these are home cooks. I hope I'm in the frame. These are home cooks who, they make their own pasta and they make their own hollandaise sauce and stuff that even I haven't done yet. And there was one season where a lady that ended up like in the top 10, I think, did not know how to make mashed potatoes. And I thought, wow. So some people don't know how to do that. And obviously you don't just naturally know how to do it. So I thought, why not tell you guys how I make my mashed potatoes? Because I think they're delicious. So let's talk about that. So I've boiled them until they're fork tender, meaning, they don't, they're not firm still when you touch them with the fork. So I'm going to drain them now. Oops, I got to get my little colander ready. Try to do this one-handed. Drain those. Keela just can't help but be right underfoot all day today. And then back into the pan they're going to go. Oh, this one-handed stuff is hard, y'all. And I will have to mute my mic here in a minute when I've got the mixture going because, okay, so first secret, hang on, let me back up. First secret to great mashed potatoes is to season the water that you boil them in. I don't know if that would work as well. Some people will like boil a whole potato, skin and all, because there's like a hack where then when you take it out of the water, once it's done, I think you run cold water over it or something and the skin will just slide right off and that just saves you the step of peeling. I hope y'all can hear me. I don't do that. I like to chop them up so that I can season the water and then the potatoes themselves actually absorb the seasonings from the water so that they already taste delicious as soon as I drain them. Second secret to great mashed potatoes is, let's put this here now. See if I'm missing any important comments. Oh yeah, that's what I should have gotten with some wine today, especially again after the week I've had. Okay, so yeah, so Ritz, yeah, you'll learn some potato secrets here. Okay, I'm scrolling back up just to make sure I'm not missing too much. Puppies already want to supervise. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, Boone's been lingering because he's watching and waiting for me to drop something or toss something or all the above. Okay, I'll try to catch up on the comments here in just a bit after I get this thing put together. But so let's get back to potatoes. First secret is to season the water. Second secret is to use real butter, not margarine. I don't use margarine for anything anymore. How much butter you use is, you know, kind of a personal preference thing. But this is, I mean, I've used this stick. I've softened it and used it and put it back in the refrigerator a couple times. That's probably not quite a half a stick of butter. So let's put, yeah, I'm going to put that in there. Not quite a half a stick of butter. Hard to tell you how much to use when I don't know how much you're making. So if you're not used to making mashed potatoes, you might have to just experiment for a little while. So now I'm just going to use my, okay. Second secret to great mashed potatoes is to use your hand mixer. So right now I'm just kind of mashing them up to help the butter get melted in there. And then I'm going to mute my mic here in just a second and whip them for a minute. And then I'll tell you what the fourth secret to great mashed potatoes is. Right here, I'm muting the mic. Don't think I went anywhere. And now the fourth secret to great mashed potatoes is half and half or cream. You can just use regular milk if you want. I happen to have some half and half around because I'm going to make the cinnamon roll hack thing tomorrow. Again, don't know how much to tell you to use. You don't want liquid potatoes, but these will add some moisture. I'm going to mute my mic again right quick. Okay. Oh, here's one. Here's a taste test. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So I could just sit there and eat that pan of mashed potatoes. So now I'll put the rest of this half and half back in the fridge. Now we're going to build our shepherd's pie. A shepherd's pie does not have a pie crust. I don't know if there are variations where it does have a pie crust, but I don't know that a real shepherd's pie has a pie crust. We'll look up some history on shepherd's pie when I get back to the computer when this is in the oven. But we're going to put the meat in the dish. Y'all, this really is so simple. You're going to want to make it. I'll look at the comments, make sure I'm not still muted or something, then I just don't know it. All right, we're just going to spread this meat out. And you can add, like I would love to put peas or something in it. I think this is really good with peas, but you know who will not eat it if it's got peas in it. And I don't want corn in it because corn gives it kind of a sweet taste. And now we're going to put these mashed potatoes on top. So if you are a meat and potatoes kind of person, how much more amazing can a meat and potatoes dish get? I'm not going to worry. Well, I'm going to wipe that off. Just spread these over the top. And again, the proportions, you know, how much you make is going to depend on what size dish you're putting it in. I gotta rinse my hand. I could have just sat there licking that spatula, but all right. I've got it on a cookie sheet just in case it bubbles over or something. It won't make a mess in the stove. In the oven. And I'm gonna set the timer for 45 minutes. Well, we'll do 46 since I opened the oven and it got kind of cooler. Okay, and now I'm going to do what I did last week because that worked pretty well. Oh, gosh, you know what I forgot? I've done this before. Hang on, let's take that out of the oven. Look, looking right at me is the cheese I grated. So hang on, I got to scoop those potatoes out. Wow. That is the beauty of live streaming. We'll just leave that little layer of potatoes there. And I'm going to put some grated sharp cheddar cheese on here. Still super simple, but I think that's an important step. Let's put a little more cheese. But that means I got to grate it right quick. All right, now let's try and make that look pretty again. I've only got a little bit of meat mixed in with the potatoes here. That'll make it interesting. Even as much as I have done videos sharing recipes, and now I've done this handful of cooking chats, obviously I'm not real used to preparing stuff for you live. But it's going to all turn out good no matter what. This is in that dump and go kind of category of meals. Hello to anyone that may have come in while I was not looking at the chat. I'm determined to get the last of the potatoes there. All right, we're going to try this again now. Now, into the oven it goes, and I got to set my timer again. Oops. Okay. If I don't make at least a small effort to get some of this picked up, the dogs are going to be on the counter. They don't usually counter surf, but I'm sure they won't be able to resist knowing that I'm not in here to pay attention. Okay, I don't think they'll get into the spices. All right, now I'm going to go to the computer, which means I'll have to turn this phone off and get logged in over here. And let's see what we can find out about shepherd's pie. Oh, let's see. I'm going to go back. Oh, I never can find the leave studio button on the phone. So I backed out to save us the annoyance of echoes. Now let's look at the chat. And again, hello, happy Saturday. I hope weather is good wherever you are, because it's just a nasty, nasty mess here. Now it's been raining for like the last 3 days. So we have, wow, I'm hot from working in the kitchen, y'all. Now we have standing water and mud. Seems like I told y'all that last Saturday, didn't I? Wasn't it the same thing last weekend? And I try to, frame it from the standpoint of activities or being out on the road and stuff. I guess that's a blessing if it wants to just wait and show up on the weekends instead of during the week when all the cars are on the road to get to and from work. I got entirely too many layers of clothes on. That's another thing I'll talk to y'all about. So it's not as cold right now. I think, well, let's look at the phone. I like to share the temperature with you. It is currently 43 degrees. It's not raining right this minute. But again, it's been raining for the last 3 days. And I think there's rain in the forecast again for tomorrow. Not as high as it was for the last few days. And let's see. I'm just trying to get a layer of clothes off. So I'll go ahead and talk to y'all about that while I'm mentioning it. It's been so cold here. And again, here in this part of Texas, I mean, it can get cold, but not like it can get up north where some of you guys are. And so we just don't know how to do it. We're not acclimated to that.
And well, I don't know. Do you ever get acclimated to that? You would think cold is cold, right? Wherever you go. But I would hope that people that live farther north that really have winter aren't even more miserable and uncomfortable than I am here because we just don't usually get a whole winter. So we had the below freezing temperatures a couple of weekends ago, and it was supposed to have been in the high 50s, 60 degrees, low 60s this week. Uh-uh. I don't think we got above like 54 degrees, and I don't remember what day that was. But with the warmer temperatures, that's what brought in some of these bands of rain. Some places around here got even thunderstorms, lightning and thunder and stuff. So we didn't get that here. Not that that bothers me. I love a good thunderstorm. But um, it's been so cold that I have to wear like 3 layers of clothing. So I will literally have on, I think I told y'all last weekend or sometime or another, I'll have on like my yoga pants and then my thermal pants and then my yoga pants and then a pair of jeans or whatever other kind of pants. Then I'll have on like an Under Armour, like a thermal shirt. And then I have a long sleeve t-shirt over that. And then I'll have a sweater or a sweatshirt or something over that. And the worst part of that is that then every time I take a shower, there's a whole load of laundry to do just from the clothes I take off to take the shower. So it's, we just don't know how to deal with that here. Okay, let me go back to the chat. I'm all over the place as usual. I am so tickled to see Weave's World here, y'all. I'm tickled to see all of you here, but we don't get to see Weave very often. Hey, Lux, how are you? Thank you for being here. Bud Files, Joe and Sue, how are y'all? Thank you for being here. Okay. I'm thinking I'm not missing anyone else. If I did, I'm so sorry that I've missed you. Moonshine, huh, Paul? Yeah, so yeah, really, Ritz, there's some secrets to good mashed potatoes. And when I've been someplace where I can tell that that person doesn't know the secrets to mashed potatoes, I mean, I'm not a picky eater, but and I don't mind like lumpy potatoes. I don't mind it. Sometimes I make mashed potatoes and I don't even peel all the skin off. I kind of like the taste and the texture of the skin from time to time. Especially with stuff like chicken fried steak, something that's going to have gravy with it. But for a dish like this, I love having nice, smooth, fluffy potatoes. Um, so I thought, why don't I share my secrets with y'all? Uh, and yeah, there's the standing offer. Anytime you are in the Dallas Fort Worth area and you want to stop by and hang out and let me feed you, I just need to know you're coming so that I can make sure I have stuff on hand to prepare something worth eating. I just made a big batch. Yeah, I kind of wish I had put more cheese in it, but that would have meant I'd have to go to the refrigerator, get out some more cheese, and start grating. I thought I had grated enough because I don't usually cook it in that little tiny dish. It's usually a great big dish of shepherd's pie. But I just made broccoli chicken casserole yesterday. So we've still got that in the refrigerator. And Richard has been sick since like Wednesday night. So he's not eating much. He's not even getting out of bed much. All my bragging about how he didn't get sick that week between Christmas and New Year's, it's catching up. It's catching up with him now. So he's been at home in bed for the last couple days and has only been up for a little while today. Let's see. Lux just got home from an arts and crafts show. Animal Control picked up Duke earlier, so now I got a deadline to spend a lot of money. Ooh, potato cakes. Yeah, I love potato cakes. You used to could get potato cakes at Arby's. I don't know if they're the same kind of potato cakes you might be talking about. And I don't know if Arby's still has potato cakes because I don't go to Arby's really anymore. Okay, you guys have been covered with a fog. We've had several nights where it's been really foggy overnight and then into the morning it's still been really foggy. I wonder whose face that was. Did you see somebody while I was sitting here? Probably Keela because she likes to climb up under the desk and sit by my feet when I'm at the computer. Oh, that might be nice to put some bacon in there. Yeah. I don't even know how I could forget the cheese. That's like the best part of this whole dish. Okay. So Weave's World would know about shepherd's pie because shepherd's pie and cottage pie originated in the UK, if I remember correctly. That's what I was going to do. Let me open a window and let's learn about shepherd's pie while that shepherd's pie is in the oven. Okay, here is from greatest.com. A history of shepherd's pie. Let me present this and I'll read it to you. And the only reason it's in the oven, obviously everything is already cooked, but that cheese needs to melt and then everything kind of needs to get mushed together. Oh, where did I go? Oh, it's just not showing this yet. Okay, that. Okay, let's take this off and make sure I haven't missed any more. Boy, I would just sure settle for a glass of wine. I haven't had a glass of wine probably in a month. Okay, so a history of shepherd's pie. St. Patrick's Day. Oh, well, obviously this was written around St. Patrick's Day. This is dated September 16th of 2021. So I don't know how that is that St. Patrick's Day is fast approaching, but whatever. We'll let him say that. St. Patrick's Day is fast approaching, and if you're like the preponderance of Americans looking to eat like they're Irish, you're probably thinking about where you can indulge in some corned beef and cabbage. The thing is, maybe you should consider something else. After all, corned beef might not really be Irish. Plus, there are numerous dishes from the Emerald Isle worth your consideration. One such dish is shepherd's pie. So, in preparation of your perhaps partaking in the pie, let's look at its history. You might be thinking, of all the Irish dishes, why are you focusing on shepherd's pie? Truth be told, when I think of a St. Patty's corned beef is top of mind. There, I said it. Call me a basic lad. I guess I'm just like everyone else, but I covered the origins of corned beef last year, and I can't very well write it again now, can I? So I thought about my alternate meal, the meal that I'd have if I were angling to celebrate with at least so-called Irish food, but wasn't quite feeling corned beef. As I considered what that would be, it hit me. Shepherd's pie. So that's reason number one. I don't want the reasons. I want you to tell us the history of shepherd's pie. Okay, problem is there isn't much to the history, at least not in a straightforward way. There doesn't seem to be a singular person, event, place, or circumstance that gave the world shepherd's pie. Instead, there are bits and pieces of history that together and once interpreted allow the emergence of shepherd's pie to make sense. So here's a brief rundown of those facts. All right. Bullet point number one, the Norman invasion of Ireland began in the 13th century and sparked a tumultuous union between Ireland and England that would last for about 800 years, though, depending on who you ask, it's still going on. In the late 15th century, England had officially taken control of Ireland and brought the island into the United Kingdom. As an arm of the United Kingdom, Protestantism became the new official religion, despite Ireland being majority Catholic. I'm still waiting for shepherd's pie, y'all. The British and Protestant Irish converts became ruling landowners protected by the government. Irish Catholics became peasant land workers sanctioned by the government. As a result, they were generally impoverished, living in humble homes called cottages. In 1589, Sir Walter Raleigh introduced the potato to Ireland, and over time, the potato gained acceptance in Ireland as an edible, affordable piece of produce, particularly for the poor. The British loved beef and sparked an increase in beef production in Ireland. The Irish were never big beef eaters. Regardless, they couldn't really afford it while Ireland was under British control. I still don't understand. Let's see. Those are the facts. Now, before I proceed, I want to make sure we're clear on what precisely shepherd's pie is. Here goes. It's a hearty dish with origins in the United Kingdom and Ireland, composed of ground meat cooked in gravy, onions, carrots, celery, and mashed potato crust. Can be top and bottom or just top. I told you, it's a slam dunk meal for a cold St. Patty's dinner. Anyway, given the makeup of the dish and the facts presented above, here's what's suspected to have sparked the origin of shepherd's pie. That is the longest intro that did not tell us what we came here to get. Nicely written, but okay. Cue cottage pie. Sometime in the 18th century, a dish called cottage pie came about somewhere in the vast expanse of the United Kingdom and Ireland. It seems to have originated as a way for folks to make use of leftovers in order to avoid waste, both of the food and money varieties. And going back to something this guy said, yeah, if you want to put onions, if you want to mix onions in with the meat or some other kind of vegetable, you can do that. Like I said, I love it with peas, but I would be the only one eating the peas if that happened. Let's take that banner off. Okay, simply put, after making a weekend roast, unused meat was repurposed into a pie using affordable potatoes as a crust. This frugal, albeit clever meal suggests the name cottage pie, referred to the consumers of the dish, poor Irish peasants. Remember, they lived in cottages. Because the Irish at the time typically could not afford beef, I suspect the earliest forms of cottage pie contained mutton, since mutton was a cheaper and more flavorful alternative to either beef or lamb. So, I thought mutton was lamb. What, sheep? Oh, so mutton is like a grown, an adult sheep? Is that how that works? Because I think I had asked before about what is the difference between shepherd's pie and cottage pie. I think Adam Sky was on the show, and I asked, and I think he either told me or he said he thought that cottage pie has lamb or sheep in it, and shepherd's pie has beef in it. It doesn't have German shepherds in it. Notice the title of the stream today: no German shepherds or no dogs in the recipe. The cottage pie was the precursor to shepherd's pie, which was coined in the middle of the 19th century. For a while, it was used interchangeably with cottage pie. However, as time went on, a distinction was made. Shepherd's pie referred to a dish made with lamb because sheep are tended to by shepherds, and cottage pie referred to a dish made with beef, the absolute opposite of what I just said. I learned. So I don't know who this guy is. Okay, so whatever. Obviously, back in the 14 or 1500s, somebody first started thinking about mixing meat and potatoes like this and layering it in a dish and calling it some kind of pie. It is pretty inexpensive. I like to use lean ground beef just because I feel like there's less waste. It costs a little more, but 6 of one, half dozen of another. If I buy a higher fat content meat, and then as I cook it, more of it cooks off in the form of the grease, and I have to throw that out, then I don't know, what's the point? So you could do that, but I just feel like I get more for my money to get a little bit higher percentage of lean beef in the ground beef, so that I don't have to drain off quite as much grease. Oh, and I should have said that. So when I browned that meat, I browned it, I drained it, then we put the seasonings and the soup in it. And I just opted not to do onion in it. Sometimes I do onion in it just because I really like the taste of onion, but trying to make these Saturday night dishes as simple as possible. And I didn't think to set a timer on my phone also, so that I could be ready for the timer on the stove to go off. But that's at least one variation on the history of shepherd's pie. I've never made cottage pie, or whatever the opposite is. I've never made it. I've never used anything but ground beef in my shepherd's pie. And I think I told you at the beginning of the stream, even though it's called a pie, it doesn't have a pie crust. It doesn't have a dough pie crust. And to me, if it had a pie crust type, a layer, then it would be more like a pot pie. Okay, so like a beef pot pie. Maybe I'll try that sometime, where I actually put like a pie crust in the bottom and up the sides maybe, and fill it up, because then it's got like bread with it, right? Then it really is the whole meal in one pan. But that's what's involved in shepherd's pie. Now let me see what I might have missed. Okay. Never had shepherd's pie, but it looks absolutely delish. Oh, well, I already saw that comment, didn't I? I'll take a minute to thank those of you who are here live. You guys know that's always really exciting to me when you actually show up to be with me during the stream. And then thank you to those who will watch it after the stream ends as part of the rewatch crew. That means just as much to me. If you've missed the news this week, let's take a peek at Jackie and Shadow. If you missed the news, Jackie and Shadow at my second all-time favorite eagle nest, my number two heart. I don't know, can y'all hear that when I just have it playing and I'm not sharing the screen? It's just the wind blowing at their nest. Let me share that. And we're just going to take a peek at them because there's exciting news out of Big Bear Valley. And the exciting news out of Big Bear Valley is that Jackie laid her first egg of the season on Thursday. So I'm expecting another egg tomorrow. Eagles usually lay their eggs 3 days apart. The little baby eaglet at Southwest Florida is doing great. This is the first eaglet for M15, the dad, and his new mate F23 since the disappearance of his longtime partner Harriet in February last year. So that nest is going great. That's my number one heart nest. That's the nest that started it all. But here's Jackie just keeping the egg warm overnight. They're not sitting full time. In fact, look, so we go back to 4:12 p.m. California time. So it would have been 5:12. So, not that long ago. And they got up. They both got up to probably get something to eat or go and bathe or do something off the nest. And this concept here of not being on this egg full time is known as delayed incubation. And delayed incubation happens because when it's hatch time, it's ideal if both eaglets hatch as close to the same time as possible. And that's just because it's a lot of work already, feeding a baby eagle and protecting the territory and doing all the hunting and stuff that still has to happen. But if you've got one little baby eagle that you're feeding and all that other stuff still needs to be happening, but you've got to spend full time, like you don't get up. They only get up during full-time incubation to switch places, to take turns sitting on the eggs. So delayed incubation gives them a better chance of having eaglets that will hatch really close together. The closest together I know of that I've seen that eaglets hatched is like, within an hour or two of each other. The farthest apart that I've seen is like 2 or 3 days. Now, the eagles that lay more than 2 eggs, there could be additional time waiting for that last egg to hatch. Sometimes all the eggs don't hatch. There's been a string of unfortunate attempts at, raising offspring at this nest, partly due to the weather. Let's just turn that off. And partly due to the predators and stuff in the area. A big problem with ravens at Jackie and Shadow's nest, at all the California nests. There are other stories about ravens that really, really wreaked havoc and left a lot of people in tears. Here's a comment from Ritz. I attempted a pot pie and it was a goopy mess. I will leave that one to the experts. Yeah, without knowing what you might have put in it. A tip, if you're ever trying to thicken up a gravy or a sauce or a dessert, pudding or something, cornstarch is a good. I like to use cornstarch more than flour because flour can start making it taste more like dough. And I feel like cornstarch doesn't impart so much of another flavor to it. It just helps thicken it up. You just have to do it a little bit at a time, and let it do its thing before you add too much. Anyway, so that's the fun news in the eagle world, is that Jackie and Shadow have their first egg. I am so hopeful that they're going to get at least 2 eaglets this year. They got 1 eaglet last year. Then they went like 3 seasons with no eaglets. Either the eaglets hatched and then they died right away, or the eggs were attacked by ravens before they could have a chance to be fully incubated. The dad eagles, I think it's really neat. The dad eagles share equally in incubating and then tending to the young. Maybe not quite as equally when it's time to tend to them, because the dads do a lot of the hunting to bring food to the nest. But then when there's food in the nest, both parents share equally in feeding the offspring and then keeping them warm after they hatch, because they can't regulate their body temperature in the very beginning. That's again part of the problem with the tragedies at this nest, is that winter there is very, very harsh. And there have been many years where there will be, like a foot and a half of snow in that nest that we just looked at. So there have been winters. In fact, last winter or last season in the winter, I did a video even, I think it was last season, of Jackie like completely covered in the nest, incubating her eggs. Completely, you wouldn't know there was an eagle there until she moved, to change positions or give dad a turn sitting on the eggs or whatever it was that happened. But now I want to show y'all. Y'all are going to get a sneak peek. If you have not seen the thumbnail, in fact, let me show you the thumbnail for Tuesday night's stream. So Tuesday night, I talked about this on Tuesday this week, as far as doing my roundup. I'm really enjoying doing the roundups at night, but I joked, I can't remember what it was we might have seen. And I joked about how I might have to do like a RichKat Ranch after dark stream, just, so people would be prepared in case there's some PG-13 stuff or something. So first I'm going to show y'all this thumbnail. I don't know that I've even looked at the thumbnail like full screen size yet. Oh, what am I doing here? All right, make sure that that's right. Tuesday, yeah. Well, oh, there it is. So I want to download my thumbnail, drag it over here, and let you guys look at it. And then I'm going to give you a sneak peek, and we're going to look at a couple of the images that I'll share on Tuesday night. Share my screen again. There's got to be a more streamlined way to do this, share screen and not share screen. And oh, duh, I keep forgetting I can just make myself full screen again. Okay, so here's Tuesday's thumbnail for Tuesday's show. And then let me tell you, what the description says, because I have a disclaimer in the description. Though many of the autocorrect fails I've collected for today's show range from purely hilarious to just innocently suggestive, technology has a way of twisting words into some pretty raunchy creations at times. They're all funny, though. Join me to see what I found on the internet that reminds us that the letters U, I, S, D, and F are right next to each other on the keyboard, and that enunciation is important. Many voice-to-text programs need lots more practice to get things right. So I try to read when I'm doing the dictation. So anytime I'm in the car, do hands-free and use the voice-to-text if I'm doing messages or replying to messages. But even here at home, sometimes it's just quicker because I can think a lot faster than I can type. And it is funny how bad that program is sometimes. The voice to text or speech recognition is. But let me show you some of the things we're going to look at. So let me pull this up. Pull this up. And I'm just going to do, so you'll just have to act surprised when you see this on Tuesday. So here's one. And this is one. Okay, so this is one that it's not raunchy. Okay, so again, most of them are just kind of funny or weird or awkward. Let me make it bigger. And of course, some of the images I found, I'm sure it's not a real text. Somebody created these, it's like a comedy thing. But this text supposedly reads, guy won. So how was the date last night, bro? Did you score? Not quite. First date. We went to dinner and then walked her home. Then I killed her in the woods outside her house and left. First guy again. Killing her seems a bit harsh. Did she order the lobster and filet mignon at dinner or something? And stars, asterisks to cover up a dirty word, I'm sure. Kissed. WTF. So that's one. And now we'll look at the second one. I don't want to use them all up here. All right, this one. Mom, your great aunt just passed away. LOL. Daughter or whomever. Why is that funny? Mom, it's not funny, David. What do you mean? David, Mom, LOL means laughing out loud. Mom, oh my goodness, I sent that to everyone. I thought it meant lots of love. I have to call everyone back. Oh God. So that's part of what we're going to look at. Some of them are funnier than others. Some of them are kind of raunchy. I've been playing with, let me show you the little sound effect I have. I got to find it. I just am not sure how I'm going to time it right. Okay. Let me get back to StreamYard. So there's my little thing. So if, a word that it maybe isn't quite so family friendly comes up, I can just hit that button. But again, I don't know how to time it right so that I can make it work. I hope you could hear the button. I think this is turned up as loud as it can go. But that's what I have in the works for Tuesday. So I hope you will check it out. Because if it works and we have fun with that, there are some other things that, would be kind of fun in that same vein. Like I'm not looking to do anything, that should offend anybody. Because when I read some of these, even the ones that are pretty raunchy, I'm like rolling in the floor laughing. They're so funny. So we're going to give it a try. But because some of them are slightly suggestive and some of the words that the autocorrect decided to put in place of whatever the person actually typed, I just want to make that disclaimer and let you guys know so that if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, you either won't come or you'll come and know that I'm not trying to ruffle feathers. I just wanted to share something that is really funny to me. So I've got a big batch of these to share with you. And I hope you'll have fun with me as we do it. How long has it been? Oh, we're not quite. We probably got about 10 minutes left in there on the pie. So let's look at some funny headlines. I think I shared with you guys also recently that when I go to Chrome on my phone, one of the things that I enjoy doing sometimes is just telling it that I want to open a new tab. Oh, let me go here. So from here, I want to open a new tab. There's a plus sign here, new tab. And that takes me to a screen where there are just some like current headlines. And some of them are hilarious. Some of them are very informative. You might find a recipe or a viral video. And so one thing that was on it today, it changes. Every time you open a new screen, it changes. But let's see what we have on here today. Pregnant animal tries to escape freezing weather inside busted recliner. Oh, I mean, that sounds interesting, but. And then here's one, the popular houseplant that takes on humidity in bathrooms without windows. The strange occurrence of the Twilight Zone episode that won an Oscar. Yes, an Oscar. Let's look at that one. What I need to do here then. Oh, I guess this is where I could have used that phone thing. Or I guess I could have had, well, I couldn't have all these pulled up yet. Well, I could have. I don't like to have too many windows open. This is sci-fi.com. But I'm guessing it's probably the same story. So on the phone, it shows that it's from sci-fi.com, but I am at yahoo.com/entertainment. And we've still got the same title with the same image that shows on my phone. There's Rod Serling right there. So let's see what this is. The Twilight Zone, which regularly airs on Sci-Fi, Okay, I mean, these look, I think they're the same article. Yeah, looks like the same article on my phone too. Is one of the most celebrated and influential pieces of genre television ever produced, a landmark of the medium that inspired virtually every science fiction and suspense series that came after it in one way or another. Over the course of its run, the show won 2 Emmy Awards and a Golden Globe for its creator and host, Rod Serling, cementing its place as a television hit. Then somehow, as its final season was still airing, The Twilight Zone also made its way to the Oscars stage. Sort of. Let's see, I'm going to take me off so that that's a little bigger. Make this a little bigger so y'all can read along. Okay, maybe that's easier to read along. One of the episodes in the show's 5th and final season, An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, that's also an episode of the CBS Radio Mystery Theater, FYI, was a strange animal for the show, something that Serling himself remarked upon in his introduction. Unlike other episodes, the story was entirely produced by filmmakers outside of the Twilight Zone team, then re-edited and repackaged to air as part of the series, complete with Serling's intro and outro. To make things even stranger, the episode was actually produced in France, where it had already won Best Short Film at the Cannes Film Festival. So how does an award-winning French short film make its way to American television as part of a beloved sci-fi program? Well, according to producer William Frug, it came down to budget concerns. At the time, CBS was pushing the show to save money as it worked to complete its season 5 order, and that meant that producing a whole new episode to complete the order was going to make money extremely tight. In an effort to appease the network while still meeting the tone of the show, Frug suggested they license An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, which he'd already seen, and simply make it part of the Twilight Zone. It was almost entirely silent, Frug said, in the Twilight Zone Companion. There were maybe a half dozen lines in it, and there was one brief ballad in English, of all things. CBS was very reluctant. A French film on television? Who ever heard of such a thing? But I convinced them because we bought all the TV rights for $10,000. With that one airing, we immediately took care of the whole year's overage. It brought us out at the end of the year under budget. And the episode fit right into the Twilight Zone's overall vibe. Based on a short story by Ambrose Bierce, the episode tells the story of a Confederate soldier about to be executed who, while falling from the gallows, imagines an entire dramatic escape sequence for himself in the moments before his actual death. So despite the weird circumstances, it was right at home. But things were about to get weirder. An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge aired on CBS as an episode of The Twilight Zone on February 28th, 1964, and just 6 weeks later won an Academy Award at the 1964 Oscars for Best Live Action Short Subject, making it the first Oscar-winning film to air on TV prior to the ceremony. So while it didn't technically win an Oscar as an episode of The Twilight Zone, it will forever be associated with both Oscar Gold and Rod Serling's masterpiece. Anyway, that's just some of the stuff I find when I do this this thing on my phone where I just pull up random stuff. Here's another thing. It looks like the winner of Hell's Kitchen 22 has been named. Okay. And then here's let's look at this one. Oh, let's do it up here. So the title of this article, let me see if I can match it up right. This is from The Sun, thesun.com. Okay, here it is. Let's go back to sharing. All right. The title of the article, everyone can see the elephant, the helpful elephant. Oh, there we go. But you have a high IQ and 20/20 vision if you find the lazy horse in 12 seconds. So let's watch this video. I haven't seen this yet.
Long lost twin? Nope.
Oh.
I'm you after Italian cooking classes. Thanks.
I have to. Oh, we can skip it now. Lazy horse. pause it. Oh, it's circling it. Okay. It's circling that, but does anybody, I don't see anything there. What's there? I hope you guys are still here. I don't see anything happening in chat right now. Hang on. I'm going to pull up a window. Make sure I have a stream still going. That would really be unfortunate, wouldn't it? Okay. This shows that I'm live. I'm going to mute that. I'll keep talking because I'm just waiting to... Okay. I think it's still working. You guys say something. Let me know you're still there. Oh. Am I in the right thing? All right. Now I got to find my... There's my StreamYard window. Okay. So there's supposed to be a lazy horse, I guess, in that circled area. We'll keep playing it and see. Okay. I don't get it. I don't get it. What do we just watch? Did anybody see it? Did anybody see a lazy horse there? I sure didn't see it. I'll play that. Oh, well, yeah, I'll play that again while I go check the timer on the oven. But let me get back to the right screen. All right, we're going to play that again. And I'll be right back. Ad, because I don't want to get a strike for somebody's ad. Skip ad. Why is that off? Why is the oven off? Okay, it's still got a little time to go. Hey, Dr. Lund, how sweet to see you. Okay, yeah, I did not see a lazy horse either. I don't understand. I don't understand that. Okay, but those are the kind of things that I enjoy doing. It's just serendipitously or maybe on the side of the circle. I don't know. Now I'm going to be obsessing over that. Here are some of the other headlines that come up on that tab when I open the new tab. Corgi service dog hailed as dream passenger in airplane TikTok. And then a convoy calling themselves God's Army plans to head to the Texas border to stop migrants from entering... I can't see the rest of the headline. Other passengers support man who opened emergency exit and walked on plane's wing in Mexico airport. That does remind me of one of the funny stories that I saw earlier today when I did that. Let me see if I can find that. I don't remember exactly what the title of it. I think this is it right here. So let's share that, because you never know what you're going to find when you do this just random, pull up another window or pull up another tab on your phone. I don't know if everybody's phones do that, but so here's one. How about this headline? Excessively farting passenger reportedly causes American Airlines flight to turn around. I think this is the same article. An American Airlines passenger reportedly passed gas and loudly bragged about it on a recent flight from Phoenix to Austin. A fellow flyer documented the smelly incident on an Austin subreddit. Yeah, this is the one I saw earlier. The plane was forced to return to the gate and the passenger was removed. A flight was reportedly delayed after the plane ran into some unexpected flatulence, an excessively gassy passenger who had to be removed. The January 14th incident was documented by Texas-based Reddit user, whatever that name is, who wrote about the smelly situation on an American Airlines flight from Phoenix to Austin. American Airlines did not immediately respond to people's request for comment. I was seated near the row where this situation occurred, the passenger recalled in the R Austin subreddit. While the airplane was still at the gate, the documentarian says they saw and heard an audibly disgruntled and maybe hungover man. He reportedly exclaimed, "You thought that was rude? Well, how about this smell?" and proceeded to loudly pass gas. Talk about getting your 15 minutes of fame. And that reminds me, so I've said for a long time, I would imagine that anyone in healthcare, any kind of healthcare, Dr. Lund even, I imagine any of us could write a book about some interesting, unusual, bizarre, or hilarious, or all of the above experiences we've had with patients and people over the years. And one of the things that would be in my book, I can't remember who I was working for. I can't remember who I was working for. I mean, it was here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I think we were doing a crown prep or something on a lady. And she began passing gas. And she could not stop passing gas. And she was using the nitrous oxide, so she was a little bit loopy, and she started apologizing. So initially, she was just kind of out of it and nice and relaxed. And then something happened that startled her or woke her up or something. And then she realized she'd been passing gas, and she was horribly embarrassed, and she kept apologizing, which was only bad because she kept trying to talk to us to apologize. And we're trying to work in her mouth. And it was funny. And I know at one point, so this is a trick. I don't know what they use in like the medical side of things, but one of the tricks for those of us in the dental professional world, we used orange solvent a lot in my career because it's a great, like Goo Gone, that Goo Gone stuff that you can use to get gum off of something, or the adhesive from a price tag off of something. It has orange oil in it. Well, we used orange. Oh no, it's not called orange extract. Oh my gosh, it hasn't been that long since I worked. Whatever, orange oil. It has. I don't think it's called orange oil when you buy it. And so there was always some of that in every office I ever worked in because it was great for like removing cement, like if you had a crown put on, or in the orthodontist's office, if there was cement from having brackets and stuff, and you needed to just get the excess off, you could just dip it a little bit in that. That's bugging me that I can't even think of what that's called now. But you could dip it in like a Q-tip and just gently, it would dissolve away the excess. So orange solvent, it was called orange solvent. And the trick was that, we wore masks. So we would just put a little dab of that orange solvent right under our noses so that that's what we were smelling instead of whatever. Because there's some other unpleasant smells that happen even in the dental world. I'm sure it's worse for like nurses and other things. But there were some, times when it was really nice to have that. We just put a little dab under there. So at one point when the lady was like just out of it, that's the first thing I did was get up to go get some orange solvent and put a little dab under my nose and let the doctor put a little dab under his nose. The timer's going off. Can you guys hear the timer? Let me go see. I don't know where my background went. Was the background really gone that whole time? Huh. Sorry about that. I'm back. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me? The timer went off. I hope I'm back. Okay, I'm back. The timer went off. So I had said, oh, I don't know if y'all can hear that. There's a timer going off. So I just ran up to grab it and go get some shepherd's pie. So I scooped some out with a spoon, but I'm going to eat it with a fork. There's Keela waiting for her bite. This is comfort food. I feel bad that we didn't think this up in the South here, because this is very much like a Southern comfort food kind of a dish. Let's see if we can get, I don't know if you can see that. It's just a kind of a close up. Y'all need to stop by sometime. Y'all need to come by for dinner sometime. Maybe I'll make you a shepherd's pie. This is good stuff. I guess I could have turned this stream off and gotten on the phone again to go in the kitchen to show y'all, because when you do it right, the little texture of the potatoes, it get just a little bit brown looking on top. And I kind of like it a little more brown. So a lot of times I'll turn the broiler on just for a minute or so before I take it out of the oven, so that it's got little brown, peaks of potato on top. But man, yeah, this is so good. And it's so easy. I mean, y'all saw how easy that was to make, right? Pretty quick. So it took, I don't know, 20 minutes or so to brown. You missed me, Ritz. Sorry about that. I guess I should have given y'all a little more heads up, but when I heard that timer going off, I didn't want it to get overdone or anything. What was I saying? I'm overcome with food love right now. So part of what I was saying was that I sure wish we had thought this up here in the South, because this is a great Southern comfort kind of a dish. Let's see. Vicky's got a comment. I made pierogi for the first time tonight. It's easy to make, but takes hours to put together. Sounds like your shepherd's pie is really good. Oh, this is fantastic. I've never made pierogies. Don't know the first thing about making pierogies. Is that a potato dish too? Are potatoes somehow involved in pierogies? Oh, I think I was saying you guys need to stop by sometime. You need to make a trip. Next time you're planning your trips, plan a trip to come and see me. Maybe I'll make you some shepherd's pie. I think next weekend I might make a dessert. I think Lux suggested that last week when I was debating on what I wanted to cook tonight. And I guess I could have done that tonight, since I just made that big batch of, well, it's not a big batch, but for just 2 people, it's a big batch. The batch of broccoli chicken casserole that I made yesterday. So I would have made more sense maybe to have made a dessert tonight, because we'll be eating off of that for the next couple of days. But I'd already done the thumbnail. I'd already decided, and I think I'd already announced in the stream last week that I was going to be doing shepherd's pie today. You can use potatoes for the filling, but I used sauerkraut and mushrooms. Ooh, it's healthy for you too, right? And like I said before, I would love to have some peas to go with this. I don't know what it is about peas with this dish, but I think they go so nicely with this. So that's my shepherd's pie. I hope you guys will try it. You can always reach out if you need a little guidance. I am excited to tell you. So I've got so many things I feel like in the works right now. If you missed it, I will encourage you to check out the video that I put out yesterday. It's channel shout outs. So you know how generally I do the spreadsheet and go over our channel members and previous guests on the show and let you know where they are subscriber count wise. But it takes up a big chunk of the streams, and I don't want you guys to feel obligated to hang around with me for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So I did a separate video. It went out yesterday evening, and it's just the rundown on where the channels stand in their subscriber counts. And I think that turned out fun. So if you want a quick way to go check out those channels, I have links for all the channels in the description of the video. You can pick a couple of them and go check out their content, say hi. If you like what you see, then consider subscribing and helping their little YouTube channels grow. Say their little YouTube channels. There's a couple of them that have, I think Big Bear Valley has like 219,000 subscribers now. Peter Tragos has 307, maybe some thousand subscribers now. And Dino at the Late Late Horror Show, I think maybe has 130 something thousand subscribers now. So they're not all little channels, but the way these channels grow is by these little connections that we all make when we talk about stuff that we enjoy watching. But so I hadn't had anybody interested in doing interviews for a while. The holidays were kind of busy, so I know that was a factor. Some people really didn't want to have to squeeze in a live, appearance somewhere in the middle of all the hustle and bustle of the holidays. So that made sense. I can't remember I think my last interview was the one with my friend Becky that I went to high school with. She's the full-time RVer. If you haven't seen that interview yet, you'll learn a lot about what it takes to be a full-time RVer and, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And she and her husband, Mark, were just great on the show. If I didn't share with you already, it's probably been a month or so ago now. Their dog, Dexter, that we met during the stream, he was 13. He passed away. So I'm even more tickled, though, that they were on the show and we got to see Dexter. They let us see Dexter while they were with me on the show that day because they don't have him anymore. So you guys go check out her channel. Go say hello to her and let her know you learned about Dexter because that was a huge part of their lives together. Hello, Michelle at Makeup Mom and Son. Thanks for being here today. So I am. I've always had this big outstanding list of invitations that have gone to content creators, but not everybody responds back. And I suspect sometimes it's because they just don't even see. They may get a lot of email. I think the bigger the channel, the more correspondence they get. So who knows when they might even see my email. One reason I think that is because it's not a common occurrence, but it happens often enough that I know that's probably what it is. They just haven't even seen the email invitation yet, because some of the bigger channels, every now and then I'll leave a comment under someone's video. And then like a year later, they come back and, put the heart button, they love the comment or they respond back to me like a year later. And a lot of times it's the big channels. So these channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, I don't get a lot of comments, but every now and then I'll have a video that gets a lot of engagement and a lot of comments. And if I don't start responding as soon as people start commenting, it's really hard to get caught up because I have other things that are happening at the same time too. But all of that to say that I followed up with some people. I sent out another batch of emails 2 or 3 days ago. I've only heard back from one person, but I'm excited about the person that responded because it's the team at Wild Heart Ranch. I don't know if you guys are aware of Wild Heart Ranch. They have a Facebook page. That's where I first encountered them. So I've been following them a long time there. They do wildlife rescue and rehabilitation. They are miracle workers. Annette is the director there. She's anything you ever wanted to know about how to care for an animal, bring an animal back from the brink of death, keep them alive, and then rehabilitate them so they can be released back into the wild. Not all animals can be released back into the wild. So there are some times when they have to make arrangements with a sanctuary or even a private landowner so they can just release the animal onto some private land where it won't be, in danger of being hunted or poached or whatever. And so I got a text message from them today. They're interested in doing the show. So they're going to look at their schedule. They're there 7 days a week. So they're going to look at their schedule and the calendar tomorrow, and then we'll talk and set a date. And then I'm hoping, another handful of people. They do have a YouTube channel too, Wild Heart Rescue, 2 separate words. Let me type it in the comments. I could even put the Wild Heart Ranch, not Wild Heart Rescue. Let me find you a link. So as soon as I discovered them on YouTube, obviously I subscribed. But they do amazing work. All right, here's the link in the chat for the Wild Heart Ranch YouTube channel. I know you can't click it from this banner I'm putting up, but I guess for some reason, if you're not in the chat or whatever, or you look at the stream before the chat gets populated, because sometimes it takes about 24 hours after the stream ends for people to go back and look at and see the chat. But there's their YouTube channel. It's just called Wild Heart Ranch. It's 3 separate words. And again, they do amazing things, and they'll take in like brand newborn wildlife, raccoons and fawns and crows, and I don't know if there's any kind of animal they don't take. I don't think there's any kind of animal they don't take, wildlife wise. And lots of great videos, again, on their YouTube channel and on their Facebook page. So if you are an animal lover or you have an interest in wildlife rehabilitation or all of the above, check them out. I'm so excited that they're going to be on the show, because part of what, the purpose when I do my interviews is I want to raise awareness, either raise awareness about a great channel and a great content creator, a great person behind a channel, or raise awareness about the work that those people and channels are doing, because a lot of them are doing some great work. Some of it you know about by looking at their videos. Some of them you may not even know what all it is they do by looking at their videos. And the goal is always to help increase their following and get them more support for the work they do. So that's part of why I'm excited. When I interviewed Sandy from Big Bear Valley, the Friends of Big Bear Valley, that's one of my most watched live streams ever. And of course, I know them through Jackie and Shadow that I just shared a little while ago, who just laid their first egg 2 days ago. And people love that kind of stuff. And part of the goal there was to, find them some more supporters, because a lot of what they do is dependent on having the funds that come by way of donations. They're a nonprofit organization. They do amazing work. And even, if they weren't nonprofit, there's only so much in the budget for some of these entities. And they still rely heavily on, support from the public to do the things that need to be done. And so that's what I'm hoping will happen for Wild Heart Ranch too. And again, Annette, so the director, she just, golly, she just knows her stuff. And even when she's been faced with situations where everyone else in the rescue world is telling her that's not going to work, and you're just, you're wasting your energy or your efforts or your money or whatever it is, it's, that animal's not going to make it or whatever. And by cracky, she proves them wrong. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll have something set up with them. And so I'm thinking I might just have different days of the week devoted to different kinds of live streams, because the Friday live streams, I really like doing the interviews during the day on Fridays. I think I shared with you guys sometime in the last week that Fridays, to me, when I do a stream during the day, it feels more like a business thing. I'm at work. I'm representing my channel, maybe more than I'm just representing myself. When we do these little cook things, this is just me. I'm in the kitchen. I'm telling you what I'm making. I'm showing you how I'm doing it. And then I'm tasting it to make sure that it turned out all right. But some of the other things I do, it's more, I want to have more of a professional spin on it. And so, but I don't know. I have a flexible schedule. So, if some of these people say, oh, I just can't do anything during the day, okay, then we'll do a night stream, or I'll record a session with them. I did that with Dawn Ray B, her channel, because she couldn't make the Fridays during the day, and I wasn't in a position to do really anything in the evenings at that point. And then I'll just record sessions for people that can't do something during the day. So you may be seeing me sprinkled here and there throughout the week at different times of the day, off and on, because I would like to have more uh, separation. Is that the word? Differentiation. Saturday nights are going to be y'all are just hanging out with me while I'm cooking and we're just talking. And then the Tuesday nights, the RichKat Ranch Roundup, where I had been sharing, channel updates, subscriber counts, and stuff like that. And then we do something fun. We look at some funny images or news stories or whatever. And then maybe then have a separate stream. So I've already started that process by starting different playlists. So if you go to the channel now, you might notice I have a playlist for the roundups that's called the RKR Roundup interview series. And so it's just going to have episodes where I interviewed someone. Now, a lot of those are still going to have part of the show that's devoted to the spreadsheet and sharing channel stats and such. But I'm going to try to get away from that and make more the focus of the interview shows to just be about that channel or that person, that law enforcement officer, that disease, whatever the topic is for the interview. And then we'll do the other fun things in different streams. That just makes sense to me. And I think that will be more enjoyable for me because it's a lot of work to put together a live stream, especially if I'm going to have multiple elements of stuff, channel updates and an interview, and then sharing also with you current events or, what I'm cooking, or, if I try to mix all that together, it's even more work. So I think it'll just be more gratifying for me. I think it will be a more focused experience and effort, so that when I'm, shining a light on a channel, a content creator, or an organization, or I had so much fun with my law enforcement series just because I'm such a supporter of law enforcement and military. And so I don't want to take away from that. And I don't want people to miss part of the interview because they logged in knowing I was going to interview someone. And then I spend, 20 minutes doing the channel updates and stuff. Those are important, but I don't think I need to feel obligated to blend it all into one show. So I'm going to experiment with that. And again, it may mean that you'll see me multiple times a week doing live streams. I might even do pop-up live streams here and there. Again, if someone were to reach out to me and say, let's say I get an email back from someone that I interview or that I invited to do an interview, and they say, oh man, the only time I have available in the next couple of weeks is this afternoon between 4 and 5. Well, you know what? Then I might do a pop-up live. If they're interested in doing a live interview, then y'all just might see that there's a pop-up live where I'm suddenly saying, featuring so-and-so that you may not have never even heard of. Anyway, so we're gonna see how it goes. I love having the freedom to do that. I like that my schedule will allow for that. I like that I don't have an 8 to 5 job now. That means, I've only got these nights or weekends or whatever, because I want to be able to accommodate other people's schedules, because I know some of these people I'm interviewing, they're busy. I know when I think I'm busy, it's nothing compared to what they have to deal with. So be prepared for that, and then just ask in advance that you try to come and show support by joining me when you see those things happening. But I'm excited because Wild Heart Ranch should be the next interview I have on the channel. And I just have missed doing interviews. I will put my email address up again and remind you guys that if you are a content creator and you would like to be interviewed on the show, please send me an email and let me know that you would like to be interviewed on the show. Not everybody's into that. I've learned that by sending out invitations, that some people, they're just not interested. That's one of the reasons I think I don't get a reply sometimes, is because they just don't want to do it. And, if they have that personality where they don't want to have to say no, or it feels uncomfortable or awkward to say, oh, I just don't like being on screen, or I don't want to be live, or it makes me too nervous or whatever. Okay, then I don't want to pressure them. the invitations are always standing invitations. So if you have received an invitation from me at some point over the course of the last 2 or 3 years and didn't respond, and now you're in a place where you're thinking, you know what, I think that would be fun, then don't feel bad to just send me an email and say, hey, I know it's been 2 years since you sent me the email, but I'd love to come on your show and visit with your audience. So don't feel like there's a time limit on that. It's a standing invitation. And some people have to grow to a point where they're comfortable. Even who I've been a performer all my life, but it was a challenge for me on the channel to get to a point where I wanted anyone to see me at all. The channel focus was animals, and I thought, ooh, that's great because they can maybe hear me talking, but they don't have to see me. And just as I've grown as a person, and as the channel has grown, and as I've made connections and built relationships with people, I've thought, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm part of what they're seeing. So why not try to be part of what's in the video? Then I started doing the live streams, and I thought, this is fun. This is fun, feeling like I'm really with you more, right? Because you're, maybe, I don't know, we're like in different rooms, but we're in the same house. The concept, theoretically, we're in the same house. You're just in another room, and we can communicate with each other. So that is a standing offer. If you're a content creator, or if you're not a content creator, let's say you have a business that does something really interesting, or you have a hobby, or you volunteer someplace that's interesting and you'd like to shine a light on that, send me an email. Send me an email. There's nothing wrong with marketing yourself. There's nothing wrong with taking advantage of opportunities to introduce yourself to new people and network, and right? Right? And it's good practice. So I will tell you that a lot of people, oh my goodness gracious, I cannot tell you how excited I am to see you here. Not just because you're at my live stream, and I know you've had a video and or a short or two go up relatively recently. And I'm going to say right now, guys, that I have been like desperate to see a glimpse of the new baby in the Gathered Together Homestead family. And I finally saw a short where the new baby, I guess he's riding, you're like in a golf cart or something, whatever. And I got a glimpse of the new baby. So I was so excited about that. But oh my gosh, there's the bug in your ear. You need to send me an email so we can get you on the show and let people learn about your channel now that you're back into real life after just creating another little human for your family. But again, so standing offer, send me an email. I don't want to be, I don't want you to think I'm bugging you to invite you to things. He was doing chores with Mama on the Ranger. Okay, yeah. And he looked totally happy doing it. So I was so tickled to see that. I've been waiting for an image of the baby. I mean, I love y'all, but I was just so excited and anxious to see the baby. I love baby everythings. So I was really excited about that short. So you guys go check out Gathered Together Homestead. So back to this email address. If you need me for anything ever, okay? It doesn't have to be that you want to be on the show. It doesn't have to be that you need help with something YouTube related, or one of the dishes I cook or whatever. I've said it before. So many of you have been lights in the darkness for me. So many of you have dragged me along, pulled me through some things that were really unpleasant and painful for me, because you knew what was happening and you reached out to me and reminded me that I'm not alone, that if I need to talk to someone, you're there, email, phone call, video chat, whatever. And I just feel compelled to share that with you guys too. So if you have something going on, I'm not going to say I have answers. I'm not going to say I can fix anything for you, but I know what it meant to me to sometimes have someone on the other end of even just a text message, where I could just get it out of me, stop holding it in, put it out there so that I can step back from a distance and see it. And if that person had some perspective or wisdom or encouragement or something they could share with me once they knew about it, then I got something out of it. I don't want to sound selfish when I say that, but I just know what it's meant to me to have some of you there for me. Okay. So I would love to be there for you. If you ever have a need, if you just want to, again, you send me an email, let me know what's happening. I can send you my phone number. We can talk on the phone. We can text, whatever. We can come on together and just do a private video chat. If you just want to talk and, have somebody visiting with you real time, just to remind you that, it's, this too shall pass, and that there are other people rooting for you. Make it happen. I'll make it happen. Okay. Again, and I have flexibility. And I just, Vicky Lund is like at the top of that list, y'all. I've cried on the phone to her. Maybe you didn't know I was crying when we were texting sometimes. And she's just been such a blessing to me. Such a blessing to me. So I would love to pay it forward or return the favor or whatever phrase is appropriate right here. And just remind you guys again, that's a standing offer. I don't know, maybe you got animal problems. Maybe there's something going on in your life and you want to pick my brain about what can I do about this? I did manage to raise 4 human children who've never been on drugs or in jail, or I'm not going to claim necessarily a lot of credit for that, but if you just need somebody to vent to, I'll tell you right now that having all these animals, I sure kind of wish now we just lived back in the days when everybody had dirt floors, because right now I kind of have a dirt floor. It's been raining so much, it's not even worth it to try to clean up the paw prints. And, I dry up the wet spots if they come in wet because they had to go out and do their business and it was pouring rain. But I got to thinking just today, when was that? When was the simpler time when you just had dirt floors anyway? So would you know if your dog came in and left some dirt on your floor? No, you wouldn't, because you had dirt floors anyway. So don't y'all just love how I just get off on these tangents? But my point is just that it can be so frustrating and overwhelming sometimes just dealing with the ordinary, everyday, busy stuff. You might love it overall, but it can get really frustrating. And I even have my moments. I ran errands today, and as I'm out in the car by myself and I'm realizing, wow, when is the last time I just got out of the house? There's no dog sitting on me or under me or fighting with somebody or getting into something, or I don't have to see the muddy paw prints on the floor. Now, granted, I had to go, buy feed, horse and duck feed and stuff, but it was still a break. It still felt like a break. But I know some of you can't get a break like that. You got little babies, you got little human babies or something. You can't just get in the car and drive to the feed store or whatever. So I'd love to be that if somebody needs that. And it's as simple as you just reaching out to let me know you need that. And I just, again, want to do, it's been more than Dr. Lund. Okay. More than Vicky Lund. There's a wonderful handful of you that I would never even have known that that's the kind of relationship we would have. Okay. I would never even have known that. And I would never have asked that of someone, but because I shared some things that were going on with me, those people reached out to me. Those people emailed me to say, hey, I'm here if you want to talk, or if you need to text me or whatever. Okay. This is hard times we live in, y'all. A lot of unknown stuff, a lot of uncertainty. Finances are tight for a lot of people. Again, some people are just so busy. I don't even know now how you moms are doing it. I just don't even know. I mean, granted, I feel like a dog mom, but the dogs, that's so totally different. I had human babies, so I know the difference. So I know when I say I'm busy, I'm not busy compared to what some of you guys have to contend with every day. So write it down. Take a screenshot, something. You've got my email address. That puts you one step away from having a phone number or whatever other way it is you want to reach me. But now I've just gone on and on and on and on enough about that. Let's take that off of there. I don't think there's anything else I needed to share with you today. Again, thanks to those who are here live. Thanks to those who are watching as part of the rewatch crew. My shepherd's pie turned out amazing. Next week, did I ever even get around to that? Next week, I'm going to do a dessert. I don't know what it'll be yet. I don't know what it'll be yet. I mean, obviously, I want it to be something quick enough that I can get it put together and still do a show. I have some no-bake stuff I could do. I haven't made a dump cake in a while. I would imagine everybody's at least familiar with the concept of a dump cake, but maybe you're not. Maybe it's new to you, and then I could teach you how to do a dump cake, and it's pretty quick. I mean, the whole concept of dump stuff together. And for desserts, it's even quicker because you don't have to brown hamburger meat and boil potatoes and stuff to have it ready to dump together. So I'll do a dessert next week. You'll just have to be watching for the thumbnail. Let me know too if you were here early enough in the show to see those couple of text fail, awkward text things I shared. If that's something that you think you'll like. And then be prepared when you come on Tuesday, because there will be some that are, I'll have to use that little bleep sound, that buzzer sound, instead of saying whatever the word is on the screen. It's still funny, but I want to be sensitive to the fact that can be uncomfortable for some people. You're allowed to laugh, and obviously, see, I won't even know you're laughing, so you don't have to feel guilty if you're laughing and you think you shouldn't be laughing, because I won't even know. None of us will know. But join me and see what I have in store for you on Tuesday night at 7. That's it. I'm going to let you guys go. I love you guys. I love you. I love what I'm doing. I love that you do this with me. Lux is okay with the dessert as long as it has sugar. Well, we can make that happen. And be watching for news about Wild Heart Ranch's interview that I'm hoping to have scheduled in the not too distant future. Still watching that Australian show, Rescue Special Ops. Haven't started the other Australian Rescue Ops show, I think that Lux told me about. I'm still liking this one. It does have 3 seasons. I think when I told you guys about it, I only knew there was 1 season. There are 3 seasons. So I'm about episode 5 of the 2nd season right now. So I've got, lots of other episodes to enjoy. I really love these characters. And other than that, I'm listening to a pretty neat audiobook right now. I think it's called Hit and Run. Yeah. I have always multiple books happening at the same time, but that's the one I've been spending the most time with lately. Some other projects I have in the works that I'll hopefully have more information on that I can share with you. I know it'll be time to start a garden here in another couple of weeks. I really want to grow peas this year because the ducks love peas. I love peas, but a lot of what I want to grow in the garden is to keep the animals fed. So I really want to grow peas. Where is Gathered Together? Yeah, if you've got pointers on growing peas, I'm all ears. And let's go back to the baby. He's 9 months old already. That's just wrong. That just can't be right. It goes way too fast. I'm telling you, you're going to blink. I mean, you already have older boys, so I know you know how that happens. You go to bed one night, you wake up the next morning, and 5 years has gone by. And now it's going even faster, isn't it? The more kids you have, the faster it goes. All right. Yeah, some of you from Peter's channel might remember Dr. Lund from Peter's channel because she and I kind of met there. We kind of met at 2 channels simultaneously. I had seen her in one stream during the day, and then I saw her in another stream on another channel during the night. I thought, wow, this is a sign. This is a sign. We're meant to be together. I am meant to know her, and I'm glad now that it did work out that way. So on and on and on I go. I just get so excited when you guys are here because I don't get out much. Again, I had to go to the feed store to have any kind of an outing today. So this feeds me socially and spiritually and recreationally to do my live streams and have live people in the chat with me. That's why I'm encouraging you, if you're watching as part of the rewatch crew, try to join us sometimes live because it's more fun, I think, for everyone. There's Tiffany from Canadian Family Life, one of the channels that is just blowing and going and rolling like a freight train, and I love it every time I check your stats. I love it. Check out her interview on the show. Check out Dr. Lund's interview on the show. Okay, so I'm going to leave the chat open for a little bit so you guys can say your goodbyes. I need to go find something to put the leftover shepherd's pie in or cover it with. I gotta let it cool. But be watching for a dessert announcement for next week's cooking chat. I'll see you Tuesday night, and maybe I'll see you again before then if there's an interview possibility between now and next Saturday. Be safe, be happy, be well, be blessed. I hope you're having good weather. Stay warm, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video. I love you guys. Bye, friends.